Okay. Well, I had so much fun with this hippo. I thought let's do another animal. I found a quite different animal here. It's an otter, I believe. It's in a funny pose, and I just want to see how I might succeed at capturing that. The head, let's see, maybe somewhere over here. Somewhere over here, we're gonna have a pretty clear head shape, right? And he's basically in a very funny position. I think I also should draw a little bit more dark so that you guys can see quite clearly what's happening. Now, he's basically just sitting on his butt, and we see his belly here coming in like this, and the tail being attached here and swooping this way. Well, so I'm trying to work relatively dark because I noticed that with the previous recording, at least the beginning wasn't that clearly visible. And one thing I do have to say is that the beginning is maybe the most relevant of the whole process. So here we have his front paws, and I'm just trying to think about all these limbs, just as with humans, as a set of simple geometric solids and primitives that I can easily capture in 3D space or as entities in 3D space and control. I think all in all quite satisfied. I'm gonna make his head a little bit tinier. He has these very tiny, cute ears. And let's look for his little nose, and he has a very funny expression, even though he doesn't have much of an expression. It's just, all in all, something anthropomorphic that I look at and think, well, I can relate to how he's feeling. Maybe I want to give him some more kind of cartoony anthropomorphism features in the eyes, but let's for now just stick to what we got. And that is something like this. Not perfect. It's an unfamiliar animal to me. So I'm definitely at a challenge here. But that's the fun bit. Looking here for his paws, his rear paws, and we can see clearly 5 toes on the other paw here. It's very comical looking animal, especially in this particular pose. Little nails. And there we go. Then we get the overlap and the upper legs here. He also has quite clear fingers. And one thing I do notice is that in some sense I might have a bit more leeway in the accuracy. We all know what a human figure looks like, and its proportions, details, etc. We have a little bit more or a little bit less knowledge of what exactly an otter like this looks like. So in a sense I can be a little bit more, well, carefree about the exact look and proportions. But of course the risk is that we do create something that doesn't look much like an otter at all. Well, there we go. Relatively quick sketch. I'm not too concerned with the paws on this side. I see just a tad bit of it. And well, let's just make his tail disappear behind our hippo. Shadow wise, well, the light is coming from the top, a little bit from the right, and I'm seeing a quite clear shadow pattern on the face, and the head casting a shadow very clearly onto the chest. And this side of the paw is in shadow. It's also casting a shadow down on the belly. And I'm being a bit more crude, impatient maybe even, with this render compared to the last one, just because I want to see whether that can still provide me or yield me a satisfactory result. Just pause here, casting a very clear shadow as well. Well, let's just throw this all in shadow, being even less careful with the direction in which I'm hatching. I do want to be maybe a bit careful with some light hitting the toes here. And I should probably also think about the cast shadow on the floor. Looking something like that. And perhaps incorporating that in my hatching activity from the get-go. Let's also just have a clear look at this shadow shape. Oh, by the way, I've been told to not rotate the page too much, so I apologize for that. However, it is just part of my working technique. It makes the hatching and the sketching process more comfortable for me. So it's also just maybe nice to see that. Forgetting to work from the right to the left, so now I'm a bit concerned that I'm smudging out the graphite here on the left side too much. But okay. I love this 6B graphite lead encased in a clear grip. And it's very flexible, very powerful. Well, this was rather quickly done, and I have to say I kinda like it. I maybe do wanna see if I can, well, create some sense of a form shadow or a core shadow occlusion digging into the paper. What am I doing here? Well, this should all be a little bit more uniformly filled. There we go. And again, I can kind of come in with a good, clear, bold line. Really kind of showing the drawing within all this value rendering and showing, well, also the nose. And the eyes. I'm kind of thinking about which subtle lines I need to kind of get that kind of cranky expression. Yeah, that's about it. Maybe some more shadow value here. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's in a mood. I'm thinking about showing just a tad bit of shadow for this ridge here. Where we see the belly, flapping up, bloop, like that. And hey, there we go. We have another animal sketch. So yeah, I have to say I do benefit, I think, a lot from the practice with human figures. Of course, I could learn and study more on animal anatomy, but you maybe see that, at least in working from a reference, you can rely a lot on observation, analysis, and overarching kind of principles, and you should be able to get something relatively decent on the page. Not perfect, but decent. And I think so it is for figures as well, human figures. Yes, you can study a lot on anatomy, and I think especially when drawing from invention, you are gonna need that, but a lot can already be achieved when drawing from plain simple observation by thinking about the methods and methodologies of observation and analysis, simple form construction in perspective, things like that. Okay, guys, this was fun again. So thanks for watching again, and hope you got something out of this. I'll see you again in the next one. Okay, cheers all, bye.